Well, welcome to another edition of GW Unspoken, where we discuss stuff we don't typically talk about, but probably should. And we're going to Season 4, Episode 5, talking about purpose and leadership and, what is good leadership? Can good leadership instill a great purpose? And I think it can. And again, these are just my ideas, and I reference people who I know are not my ideas or ideas I came from or I believe in this episode. But have you ever been through a time in a place where, you just feel like you're in flow, everything's working well, and you look around, it has a lot to do with people who are probably leading you or around you, and you just feel like you belong, you're part of something. And I think realistically, leadership comes from that real dynamic connection where, there's authenticity and the masks are off. There's that real sense of belonging and you're following a sort of a person of people, someone who actually they're there for people. They give you the time of day. They instill hope into you. So in this episode, I just want to quickly go through some of the ideas of what is leadership, what are some characteristics, how do we gain leadership? And again, this is just my ideas and also from what I've read. So as you know, if you've been listening to the podcast, that I believe massively from the story brand from Donald Miller, he talks about everyone wants to have or follow leaders, and a really good leader has empathy, can put themselves in other people's shoes to see how they're feeling, but they also have authority, and that doesn't mean a negative thing or a top-down approach. It just means they know where they're going and people know they want to follow someone who knows where they're going. All right? What is the secret ingredient to connection and a great culture, whether it be in a classroom or in a staff room or in a work environment, in a corporate environment, in a family dynamic? It's about people having very similar and common values. Yes, they can have differences of opinions, but the most important thing is they have to have common values. And that's a way that you can really improve culture in any environment if people know and have a line in the sand what people stand for and their values are. I think good leaders also have behaviours and actions that are consistent over time. So they're going to have a bad day, that's fine, but they stand for the same principles that are consistent over and over again. And again, they're on a path and you want to follow them if you believe in those values that they're heading towards. Another good one is from Simon Sinek, and he says two things. He says, number one, good leaders need time to grow, to build their own capacity and capacity of others. So you can't just be shoved into a leadership position and expected to be a leader. They need time to grow. And part of that is to always be a reader and a talker of leadership. So Sinek says, look, really good leaders, they're often talking about leadership. They're often reading and growing themselves about other people's opinions and ideas of how to keep growing forward in leadership. On the back of that, he says you got to instill yourself in others. So you got to create inspiring leaders that people also want to follow. So you want to try and duplicate yourself or even have leaders who are better than you. So you in turn get time leverage. So if you can instill yourself and your values in others, you're going to create similar principles and values in that organization, even family dynamic. Giving away accountability is a big one. Can we put people on the spot to help them grow in leadership? So can you actually trust someone else, even though you might want to take control or think someone's doing something that you wouldn't, the way you would do it? If you can give accountability to that person, and even if they fail and they bounce back and learn from that and move forward, that is instilling leadership into somebody. So you want to try and give away that accountability. The great leaders do that. And they also let other people build the vision. So they actually have ownership of ideas. They have buy-in to whatever the ownership or whatever the value is, or whatever the main goal of the company or the family dynamic. They actually have a vision of where they want their family to go, what that family stands for, what that organization stands for. I think another good characteristic for leadership is they can build hope and confidence in people. The amount of people I talk to now, they often are looking for hope. They're looking for reassurance. I don't know. I'm talking to parents out there. How many times do you just want to hear that, oh man, you're going through similar things? And that actually builds your own hope to think, wow, I'm not a failed parent. How many times do you hear people say, hey, you're doing a fantastic job in your role as whatever your occupation or family dynamic is? We don't get it that much. But good leaders do that. They build hope and they build confidence in people. They raise them. They don't tear them down when they're doing good things. They also admit their wrongs and they grow from it. So really good leaders, they have a high set of ethical standards, but when they stuff those standards up, they can also admit those wrongs. And when they grow from those wrongs, wow, this person has got tenacity, they've got resilience, they can grow. I think also they have boundaries that are really set and maintained. So they're not afraid of the difficult conversations. The boundaries are there. They know their set of standards. They're not just going to be a people pleaser and give in and say, "Oh, this is the easy way out," and I'll just nurture this relationship. They can be firm, fair, and consistent. They can have authority. They can still have empathy, but their boundaries are set and maintained. They can accept consequences of their actions and decisions. We talked about that before. They can actually say, I was wrong. And from that, this is what's going to happen. And this is going to be a consequence. And, it sucks. And I suck for this decision. But, get some buy-in from people within that organization. How can we move forward now? Let's bounce back. And they don't become more, they don't have boundaries where they actually try and save face because they can actually accept consequences of actions. And I think that real personal element really makes a leader stand out. They also don't let emotions affect their relationship. So even when they don't feel like it and they don't feel like talking to people and they're really busy, they still don't let those emotions affect relationships around them because they know that relationships are key to any organization of leadership. All right. And they have that sacrifice. They have that sacrifice most specifically of their own time, even when they don't feel like it. They give that person the time of day. And that's actually not hard to do because often when we're busy, we want to get through and chew through the work. It takes nothing for 4 or 5 minutes to put down a laptop or stop what you're doing, put your phone away and actually look someone and eyeball them and talk about them and how they're going. So look, there's just a few ideas about what is leadership, some characteristics, how do you develop, how do you build. I know there's plenty, heaps of others and probably people have got more suggestions and please keep writing in and let us know on our website, innatecode.com.au or gw@garywoodford.com with a double R. Send through some ideas, send through what you think. Here's your challenge for your journal. So really good leaders journal a lot. So here's some things you can jot down. There's 3 things. Number 1, who right now can you connect to and apologize for maybe some poor handling of a situation you've gone through? Could have been in the distant past. It could be just recently. Who can you send out a text message to right now and say, hey, I should be saying this face to face, but I just want to apologize for how I handled this, blah, 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 blah. And I just want to say sorry for that and take ownership. Mate, imagine the power of that. That actually puts you back into the box seat of being a good leader. Number 2, who can you actually reach out and compliment for their actions? Even if it's for being a good friend, even saying proud of you for what you're doing as a daughter or a son or a husband or a wife or a partner. What about someone in the work environment? Who can you reach out and actually compliment their actions and say, hey, you mean a lot to me and I should have said this earlier, but I just want to thank you for this, this, and this, and this, and be authentic about it. All right? Imagine the feedback you can get from that. And number 3, who can you work with and regularly connect to have a regular dialogue around leadership? Like Sinek says, a reader and a talker of leadership. Who in your association can you build, yes, your network, but build, I guess, your own self-concept, your own self-belief about what a leader is? Who can you regularly connect to and have regular conversations and dialogue around what leadership is to challenge you and yourself and the organization? All right, I challenge you to write those 3 things down in the journal. Write out those 2 things. Apologize for some poor handling. Reach out and compliment someone for their actions. Love you to do that, but also write down maybe a group of 3 to 5 people right now. You could regularly talk about what leadership is to you and also them. And you start those conversations, you never know where that ends, but I can tell you what, it will definitely improve your mindset. Thank you for joining in for GW Unspoken.